Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Karibuni Eldoret, where we have a trailblazing debate ready for you. You're watching the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Our two schools are Moi Girls Eldoret and Umoja Secondary School. And their motion is, the Kenyan education system should be devolved to county government. Who will be the victor?
Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
This evening I'm standing before you people as a sad person and at the same time as a happy person. So why am I sad? My fellow Kenyans, at the beginning of the year, we had a teacher strike, and this really affected us people as students of day schools. What happened? Now we are struggling to go to school. By 5 we're supposed to be in school, and we are leaving school at late by 10. Why? Because we are struggling to complete our syllabus. So this the reason why I'm happy this evening is because I'm given the opportunity now to express myself to the Kenyan people. The Kenya education system should be devolved to county level. Why am I supporting this? So we have to understand the motion. So what does the motion mean? Devolving, this is the act of delegating duties or authorities from the central government to the local government. So who are the local government? Here we are the local government, the county government. I'm standing here to represent the county government. So what is the purpose of the county government? So we are given the opportunity to be a branch of the central government. So to perfect and to ease the service delivery of the national government. Now, so when the education system is devolved to the county level, so what will happen? This means that the central government now, it has been brought closer to its people. Now the local or a common mwananchi has the ability to express himself. So what am I talking about? In terms of education, we don't have enough resources. Our brothers who travel all the way from Laikipia, going to Garissa to seek for education. Why? We don't have these resources. And because of devolving education system, now the governors will have the ability to construct more schools. And this will ease rural to urban migration. People now will not be having that chance to travel from their rural areas to urban areas. It is a fact in Kenya that most schools are built in urban areas. What about the rural areas? So we have to devolve our education system to the local government, and this is the county, and we are determined to perfect our duties. So when more schools are built, what will happen? So we are always crying about the employment opportunities. Now it is our chance. The teachers will be employed. What about the students? We'll now have the ability. They'll have the chance to go and join their schools of choices, and this will enhance service delivery. We'll also reduce the rate of illiteracy, and more people will be literate. And also talk about economic development. Once the teachers are employed, that means they will earn salary. And what will happen to our economy? These people will act as the consumers. They will go and consume the goods in the market. So what will happen? We'll also have our market developing, and this will improve our economical. And we'll also talk about the leaders. Now the leaders will be given the opportunity. They will be given full power. I'm not talking about the power from the central government, but I'm talking about devolving education system. I'm not talking about the power. So now the leaders will have the ability to express themselves. Now they'll have full chance. Now they'll have that urge that I'm a leader, I'm given this opportunity to express myself. So I want to live with this. Let us call a spade, but not a big spoon. Thank you.
Opposers, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
From Moi Girls High School, Eldoret, I am Grace Mwende, opposing the motion that the Kenyan education system should be devolved to the county government. Just as they said, devolution is the transfer of power from the central government down to the local government, to be particular, the county government. To us, the opposers, this is not a new term. We've seen devolution taking place in Australia, and they call it schools of the future. We've seen devolution taking place in Nigeria because they devolved their system of recruiting the teachers. We've seen devolution taking place in Finland and Scotland. So let no one think that we are not aware of this. To start with, the Geneva Declaration clearly states that education is a very it is a universal service that should be handled by the government. Education is very sensitive. It is too sensitive to be handled like a rugby ball that will be thrown around among the 47 counties in this nation. Education should be handled like an egg that will only be handled by the central government because it is too sensitive. Brothers and sisters, education is our future. Secondly, the first proposer told us that if we devolve the education system, we will have to reduce rural to urban migration. Brother, do you know I am a victim of rural to urban migration? I live in Nairobi, but I school in Eldoret. Do you know that by schooling in Eldoret, I have been able to get to know a good school like Umoja High? I was not aware of this school, and I was not aware of my friend, Kevin Odhiambo. He's my friend, in fact. Kevin, if education was devolved, you would not have known me. You would not have known me. Therefore, the centralized system of education is good enough for our country. Moving on to my third point. If we devolve education, we will encourage ethnicity in our country. Move through this journey with me. Think about a boy born in Uasin Gishu County, schools in Uasin Gishu County, goes to church in Uasin Gishu County, runs because the sport in Uasin Gishu County is running. Think about this boy. He will marry in Uasin Gishu County. We will have very many consequences, such as inbreeding, because he will marry people from here. We will have cases. We will have cases like incest. Brother, we need to change things in our country. Therefore, devolving the education system in our country is in no way a good thing. And I believe you will move with me by saying that the education system in our country should remain centralized. After all, I will not have been here to oppose this point. Thank you.
We'll now hear rebuttals. Proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Michael Faraday tried. Isaac Newton tried. And finally, they succeeded in bringing up laws which until now we are learning. Why can't Kenya try? We can try and devolve the education system to the county level. It is proven that Latin America have decentralized education system and have succeeded having 400 universities. What about Kenya? We can try, and I believe as per now we have 22 universities. What if we embrace the development? We'll have even more than those 22 universities right now. To my worthy opponent, you said that you school in Eldoret and you live in Nairobi. Point of correction, the Nairobi where you're coming from, it is an urban area, not a rural area. And going according to what you said, that you are from Nairobi and you come to Eldoret. Devolving the government will help our parents reduce the expenses of making their children travel to far places. It will also reduce the rate at which the students are being exploited. What do I mean by this? I mean that we have people from different backgrounds. We have people who believe in different religions. So if you don't want your child to be involved negatively, then embrace development of the education system to the county government. Statistics show that out of 900,000 candidates who sat for the KCPE exam, the 200,000 students sadly never got chances to enter into public schools. Why? They had the potential to enter into public schools, but because they did not have because the schools in their counties were not enough for them, they did not have any chance. So sad. Then why should you keep on saying that the education system should still remain to the national government? Be realistic. Come on. the education system should be devolved to the county government. Also, when we devolve the education system to the county government, it will be an antidote or a cure for concentration of power. This is because power will be divided to the various 47 counties. I would like to say, if Latin America have done it, why can't we? We are just like them. They only live in Latin America and we live in Kenya. That's the only difference. Thank you.
We'll now have the opposition with your rebuttals. You have 3 minutes.
Burugu Faith from Moi Girls High School, Eldoret. Would you kindly quote the ranking of the Latin quality of education in the world statistics? Secondly, when we devolve education, we make heads of institutions in the county government managers, yet they're supposed to cater for accessibility of education and productivity of the student in the school. And our country needs education if we are to achieve the Vision 2030 goals. And this has to be under the national government. Why do I say this? Because if policies, national policies that are stated and made by the government are implemented fairly and in equal, if these policies that are made by the national government are implemented equitably, fairly, and in the right proportions by each and every county, then we'll have equitable development of every county, especially in the education sector. But if we devolve education and make it in every county, the chances that counties will develop policies that suit them or policies that are relevant to their counties. That way, we will have counties ranking higher than others in education and other forms of development. We will not achieve holistic development tallying us to the 2030 vision that we do have as a country. Then secondly, I believe that the major reason as to why we have a common curriculum as a country is to achieve national integration. How will we achieve this if we devolve the government? Let me take a flashback. In the year 2007, we suffered pain because people seem to have suddenly realized that I am Luya, I am Luo, I am Gikuyu, and I am Kalenjin, for example, just to mention a few tribes. Therefore, we had wars. Now, we want to devolve education. We will make people realize I am Luya and I am Maragoli. I am Meru, but I am Tigania. That will create further disintegration, and that is not what we want as a country right now. I mean, we need to rescue our country. Yes, I do agree. The national government has failed in the past because we've had strikes. But come on, we need to destroy our past and make them ruins and use those ruins to reconstruct our future, said by Julius Caesar. We cannot dwell on our past failures and make them determine our future and be doomed. Yes, I know. The European states have said that Africa has remained a dark continent. Do we want to justify that by not making right what has gone wrong right now? We need to correct our system of thinking. We need to embrace national government because this is the only way we will achieve national and holistic development towards what our desires are. That is the Vision 2030. We need to change our mindset. Lastly, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. We have tested the national education. We need to change our state of the state of our country. Thank you.
M-Pesa pays my bills, M-Pesa works for me, M-Pesa is the way to go, M-Pesa is the way to go.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The proposers have been asked, are we more concerned about the number of universities we have, or should we be more concerned about the caliber of students that we take to those universities? The opposers have been challenged, having a centralized system of education, does it not also transfer tribalism and other negative values all over the country? So we'll let them respond to those questions. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, actually, a burden shared is a burden solved. In response to the question from my friend in Wareng High School, I'll answer him by telling him that if Latin America did it, why can't Kenya do it? They started from somewhere. That is why they have 400 public universities in their state. In Kenya, we have few national schools in Kenya. When devolved, every county will ensure that it has its own national school in Kenya, and it will reduce the number of students in national schools where we find that they are flocked and they are many. We'll find that in modern world today, the worst way to enslave a person is to deny him the right to education. That shows that our worthy opponents over here are enemies to education. Devolution today, by devolving the education system today, we will be able to correct the mistakes made by our forefathers. We'll be able to correct the mistakes done by our forefathers in the past. This will be done when many people will be able to join schools compared to the past where it was hard for people to go to school. In continuation, rulers will be responsible and this will facilitate service delivery. We'll see that when we devolve the education system, the rulers will be able to provide their service delivery effectively compared to now when it is in the national government. In addition is that it will ensure that there is even distribution of economic resources in the counties, since more people will be educated and each county will be striving to produce the best they can. Considering the fact that devolving the education system will encourage participatory decision making. In this case, it means that not only the cabinet secretary for education will have the final say, but he will have to consult with other stakeholders involving education in each county for them to make decisions. When we devolve the education system to county level, we'll find that those in charge of education management in their counties will be able to do this effectively by ensuring that the people in their counties are able to participate fairly. I'll leave you with a quote that said that education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. Thank you.
Third opposer, you have 3 minutes to respond.
To answer Cynthia from Sacho, thank you so much for your question. You asked that, aren't you taking tribalism from one county to another? An example of America, they have incorporated so many races. We have the native Indians, we have Africans there, we have Asians. That is why America is industrialized. So let me take my idea from my county and take it to Alliance Girls High School. You bring your idea to Alliance Girls High School. That is integration. That is what we want for the Kenya today. We go to policy guidelines to address various challenges in the education system. Right now we are facing something called exam malpractices. Now, if we devolve the education system, won't counties be concealing people who are doing these vices to our education system? But once we make it centralized, then we can deal with these people effectively. So I do not support devolving the education system. This is something that is causing us to have unskilled people in our universities. Let us curb these exam malpractices by making the education system remain as it is, centralized. We go to skills and knowledge. This should not be only for one county. An example of Ezekiel Kemboi.
What if he was running for Uasin Gishu County only? The skills and knowledge that we have should be an asset to our country, not to your county. That is why we should share what we have. That if I can come up with something, let me share it with the country, not be selfish and do it for my county. That is why we do not want to devolve this education system, that the brainy people in Kenya will benefit Kenya and not their county. And back to saying about the rainbow. We have so many colors in the rainbow. That is why we want to, on Cynthia's point, we want to bring different cultures into one thing. So that is why the rainbow has 7 colors to bring something that is beautiful. Clearly, we have hesitations about this motion. That is why we should not enter into this course of action with timidity. This is the 28th law from Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, that if we are hesitant about something, let us not get into it. Let us do things as we have done them and improve the central education system. Then, you told us that we want to reduce transport costs. Why are we shying away from grabbing opportunities? Does it mean because the US is far, I will not go and pursue education there? Let us not limit ourselves as Africans. Let us grab these opportunities, regardless of the transport costs. Thank you.
We'll now hear closing submissions. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
I, Kevin Odhiambo, I'm back. Nothing will change me. Nothing will move me. I'm telling you, I'm here to propose. It's for the better of our education. It's for the better of our future. I'm here to stand for the rights of students. Why should we suffer and yet we have the opportunity? Imagine when the central government devolving education system to the county level will have a say. The common wananchi will have a say in the government. They'll have to express themselves. I want to remind you from the knowledge that I gathered from the classroom in chemistry, surface area, the rest of reaction, it increases it. And now, that is the reason why the central government manages to form 47 counties to increase the surface area of service delivery. I want to challenge the judges by telling you this. A journey of 1,000 miles start with a step. And you have to make it now. It is for our right, it's for our own future. And it's for my children. Now, I'm not ready to see that thing falling. Another issue is about the Constitution. If the Constitution itself is devolved, why not just devolving education system? Think about it. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have a minute for your final submission.
Thank you. Much has been said about devolving the education system in Kenya. But as the opposers, we say if we devolve the education system in Kenya, we will be cutting the only strand that is holding our nation together. People, our country is still nursing a wound from the 2007 clashes. Do you want to go back there? Ask Maina and his team why they began the Great Debaters competition. They were motivated after the 2007 general elections to bring people together and talk about their issues. Brothers, could you be biting the same hand that is feeding you? As I come to an end, devolving education will bring cases of balkanization and secession in our country. Ask Spain. They will tell you that Catalonia, after devolving their education system, they seceded. Nowadays, they say that they speak their own language, which is Catalan, and yet they are Spanish. Who in this room wants to bring back cases of Pwani, Kenya? Certainly not me. Therefore, let us come together and say that the education system in Kenya should remain centralized, because that is the only way to achieve Vision 2030, and I will be there to see to it. Thank you.
Umoja Secondary. Kevin, wonderful. Good points, good pace. I love the fact that you start your team with a very good, punchy start. And so that meant that the other members, Anna and Eugene, needed to also come up and pick up from where you left. Anna, Fair cross-examination, you're very confident, you're not intimidated, you come to the stage and we can tell you this is normal, so this is not something strange. However, just check on your flow of arguments so that once you organize them, you can really come out as a strong speaker. Eugene, with more practice as well, I believe you can make a better speaker. I think you were a little nervous. It was evidenced by the repetition you had of your sentences as you came across. And that affected your coherency of argument, but I believe you can also make a better speaker with practice.
Moi Girls High School Eldoret, Grace Mwende, I can listen to you for a very long time. You are the star of Moi Girls High School Eldoret. You have very good use of local examples, but you're saying that when we devolve education, then we will not be sensitive to certain aspects of education that we need to pay attention to. And you talk about education being a very sensitive affair, but you're not saying why is it a sensitive affair. But you did great. You did very, very well. You have the stage presence, you have the mastery of language, your arguments are very coherent. And when you come back to make your final submissions, you do a great job and a very powerful ending. Each of you has their own style, but I think you have a good leader, and that really boosted your team. All the best to the two schools.
Umoja Secondary, the judges awarded you with 70%. Please give them a big round of applause. Moi Girls Eldoret, the judges awarded you with 75%, making you our winners today.
Congratulations to Moi Girls Eldoret, and we'd like to thank Safaricom M-Pesa and KBC Channel 1 and urge our viewers to follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA. I have been your host, Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Keep watching the Great Debaters contest.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.